Hello, my friends, Magnetic Marketing Secrets Bold Leaders members. How are you all? I hope you're doing amazing today. I have a really special Facebook Live for you today. We're going to cover a lot of things, you guys. I have all these different things that I need to tell you these things. These are important things to know. So I'm going to be answering the main question, which is, how do you enroll 5-figure clients consistently? Because this is consistency is something that all of you have shared as you join the group that you struggle with. So there are many layers to consistency, whether it's your income, whether it's your mindset. So we're going to be covering some of those today. So I'm super excited. Definitely ask your questions about consistency. Do you struggle with consistency? Drop a little emoji below, because I hope that this is going to be super helpful for you. All right, so I'm going to keep an eye out here in the comments in my computer because my live stream thing doesn't quite show me the comments. Okay, hi, Ricky, I can see you. Nice to see you here. Okay, cool. So I got the comments. It's happening. We're going to go into it. All right, so here's the thing, you guys. I noticed the other day that I have had for the past 1.5 years consistent 5-figure months, and now it's multiple 5-figure months. And this wasn't easy for me before. I didn't think this was possible. I remember 2015 and 14 when I was living in California, I thought that was the most foreign thing. I thought that maybe I'll achieve that when I'm 40 or something. It just didn't seem possible. So for me, when I reflected on that, I was like, what a transformation. What the heck did I do to get here? It's kind of one of those moments where you're like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? And I know for some of you maybe seem distant to be able to have that in your life. And I know what that feels like. This is why I wanted to do this Facebook Live, because I know what it feels like to wake up every day and be like, why does it have to be so hard? Why does it have to be inconsistent? What am I missing? What should I listen to? There's so much out there. Where do I even start to create some consistency in my life? So I want you to know that, yes, I'm sharing this today, and it's been happening for the past 1.5 years, but it wasn't always this way. It wasn't always this way. So if you feel like maybe it's just not for me, maybe it's just never going to happen to me, or maybe it's this distant thing, I want you to know that it doesn't have to be, it's not distant, it is 100% possible. So here are some of the things that I wanted to share with you today. So the first thing that we're going to cover is, what is the difference between a marketing message that attracts people who have multiple objections or who attracts people who pay in full? Because one of the things that I have done that is also not normal, well, this one's actually less normal than the other one, like the 5-figure months, but a lot of my clients, 90% of my clients pay me in full. I would say 95% of my clients pay me in full. I haven't done the math yet, recently, but this year only one client has paid me on a payment plan. Every single person pays me in full. And so I'm like, why is this happening, right? I decoded what are the things in my messaging that help me get that result, because we all love paying full clients, right? So here are some of the things that I wanted to share with you. There are a lot of things to cover when it comes to marketing message, but here's one of the most potent things that I wanted to share. Let's see, I landed on a couple, so let me just see which one I ended up deciding to talk about. Okay, so when in your marketing messaging, in your content, essentially in your content, you want to address the conversation that's already going on in your people's minds. And if you address that conversation effectively, if you enter the conversation that's going on in people's minds, and the possible objections or the fears, the limiting beliefs, the desires, everything that's going on for your ideal client, your message is going to be so much more potent than if you were just talking about a bunch of possible scenarios that are not actually true. So one of the things that I have mastered is understanding who it is that I want to serve, and then what are they really what's going on in their lives today. So let me know in the comments if you have what are the questions that you have around this, because this is not breakthrough advice, but I wonder why people aren't doing it. why aren't you, if you're watching this and you're like, I've heard this 1,000,000 times. Okay, cool. So why haven't you done it? Why haven't you actually like accessed what's inside your ideal client's minds? Is it because you don't know who to target? Is it because you don't know how to, like, what are the blocks that come up? Because truly, you guys, when you do that, that is what gives you the insights that give you endless amount of creativity to talk about. Because that's like, you know, when you get prompted, like if you guys ask me a question, it's much easier for me to give you an answer. Whereas if I'm just like, what do I talk about today? Much harder. So I'm like, there's an endless number of possibilities that I could talk about today. So what gives you guidance and what gives you focus and what gives you like that feeling of like, oh, I know what the fuck I'm talking about when you create your marketing message is when you understand what's going on in their mind. Okay? That's the first thing that you need to do. That you not need to do, but it's important that you do. Hi, Erica. Thank you so much. Now, the second thing, I mean, that's a whole conversation, but the second thing that has helped me enroll clients who pay in full, and this is more of a sales process conversation, is that I am very clear and very confident when I present my offer and when I tell them, okay, this is what we're going to do together. And not just in my sales process, but also in my marketing message, right? So let's just say that you're launching a program. I'll give you an example. So I'm launching a mastermind, and there are going to be 3 key areas that we're going to cover. So it's going to be branding, marketing, and sales. Most people would say, oh, that's too broad. But here's how I present this. I know that my ideal clients struggle with having to put the pieces together, buying different courses, and they have marketing, they have sales, and there's all these different things they need to do. And they are left to their own devices to put it all together. I know because I was there. I've been there. Even as a marketing consultant, I've been there, having to learn about branding, having to learn about copywriting, having to learn about sales. Like, I've been through it all too. And it's not fun because it takes too much of your energy to figure all of the pieces out and how they all combine, how they all join together. So in my mastermind, we go over every single thing in the right order with the potent, most condensed information so that you don't feel so scattered and so that you know how everything ties in together. So do you see how I have a clear process for how I take my people through? That's just like a random example. When I go on sales calls with people, when I'm talking to an ideal client and we have a conversation and I'm work through my sales process, I tell them, okay, cool. This is what I do with my clients. And I think that you would be a perfect fit after what you've shared with me. The first thing that we would do is, and I present the first part of my methodology, we're going to unlock your unique brilliance. And what that means is we're going to address this problem that you told me at the beginning that you had. You don't know what makes you different. You don't know how to stand out from everyone else. You don't have a clear message. That's exactly what we're going to address. We're going to address who you target, what you offer, and then what's your message. Boom. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about we're going to create magnetic content to sell that offer. And then the third thing is we're going to monetize your influence, which is we're going to find the sales process that is going to be the most in alignment with you so that you can enroll those clients with confidence. Do you see what I just did there? Like, that's what I share with people. And that gives them confidence to be like, okay, great, that's what I need. But I'm not just like, well, I think that maybe we can start here. Maybe we'll go there. I think, I have all these, a bunch of calls and things and blah. Like, I'm not scattered with how I present my offers, and my clients who enroll 5-figure clients as well, they're very clear that you want to make sure that you present your offer in a way that addresses people's struggles, that relates back to their everything that they just share with you that they need support around. Does that make sense? So it's important that you have an order, like a clear pathway, because if people feel confused, they're not going to pay you in full. They're not going to pay you. They're not at all, right? They'll be like, because there are 3 things that people need to believe in order to buy from you. They need to believe in themselves, they need to believe in your offer, and they need to believe in you. And if any of those 3 are kind of like shaky, it's not going to be a yes on the call, or it's not going to be a yes whenever you talk to them, right? So in your content, you want to make sure that you address those 3 things. why should they believe in themselves? Why should they believe in you? Why should they believe in your offer? Why is that offer perfect for them, right? Or why is your approach perfect for them? And it's not that you have to be a people pleaser, absolutely not, but you want to speak to that specific person that you really want to serve, and then you want to be a stand for them, remind them of their greatness and why this is the time for them to take action. All right. Brianna says, sometimes it's pretty negative what's going on in their heads. Well, that's when you get to decide, do I want to work with people who are in a very negative space? I talked about this last week in my Facebook Live because, sometimes we're serving people that we think are going to pay us, and they're probably not our most ideal clients, and then we're not allowing ourselves to serve the people that are actually exciting for us to serve. So if the people are struggling with depression and if they're like really down and out, then it's going to be really hard for you to take them from a place of disempowerment to a place of empowerment. So I recommend that you decide, like, do you want to work with those people, or do you want to work with people that you can also help but are more empowered and they still need your help, but they're not at this really down, deep and down place, because it's really difficult to get somebody in your marketing from like complete disempowerment to taking an action and pay you 5 figures in full. Maybe, yeah, I'm sure it's possible, like plenty of people do it. It's just much harder. You're going to be on the phone for much longer, and it's going to feel like more of a drag to work with somebody who's disempowered, because they're not going to be excited to work with. You're not going to have fun working with them. They're not going to really get results with you because or it's going to be really difficult. We've all been, we've all worked with those kind of clients. I worked with those before. Not the best clients, not my most exciting clients. I focus on working with clients who are empowered, who know they're meant for more, who know they're here to lead, and who just want the structure, both the mindset and the marketing, to really get them to the next level. It's just a very different kind of person to talk to. Whereas if I was talking to people who were like trying to figure out their first business idea, disempowered, they don't really know if they believe in themselves, and like, this is going to be much difficult and not as fun for me to work with them, right? A lot of people don't tell you this. I'm like being super real, because this is the truth. You got to decide who you want to work with, right? And if they are, there's still going to be lots of negative things that are going through people's minds, yes, regardless, but you want to address the people that you feel the most excited about working with. And then you want to address like, yeah, what are the limiting beliefs? What are their fears? What are their desires? Like, my clients are super empowered people, yet they still have fears. So I address those. Okay, now, let me know if this is resonating with you guys. So the second thing we want to move on to is my most potent and simple way to present your offers in sales calls that make your dream clients say yes to working with you. Just reading off what I wrote. Brianna says, monetize your influence. Love it. Yeah. Okay, so what is my most potent way to present my offers? Okay, so this is when I go, this is part of my sales process. This is basically the moment where I decide, like, is this person the right fit for me? Like, do I feel like I would have fun working with them? Can I help them? Do I feel excited about helping them? Can I see myself spending 6 months with them in our coaching relationship? Like, I check in with myself first and see if this feels like a hell yes. I don't make a decision based out of like, do I need the money, right? Because that's always that's never the right. That's always going to make you decide out of scarcity, right? I decide from an abundant place, and it's like, and in that, it's that. Would I want to work with this person? Can I help them, right? Or do I feel like maybe somebody else is going to be better at helping them? If I know that I can help them, if I know that I would have the best time working with them, I tell them, awesome. Well, after what you share with me, I feel like I can totally help you. And so there are a couple of ways that we can work together, but this is the best package that I would recommend, and here's why. So if you have different offers, I recommend that you have one offer or two at the most, a one-on-one and a group program, and that you decide which one would fit better for the person. But don't overwhelm people by saying like, I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that, and I have this other program and this course. I don't know. What do you think? What do you want? Like, you want to stand as the leader and say, hey, this is what I recommend. What do you think? Which one would, I think that based on what you shared, you told me that you really are looking for one-on-one support. You've been in different masterminds before that didn't quite work for you. So what I would recommend is my one-on-one package. And the way that you present that is by saying, here's what we start doing first. Here's the first thing that we'll do. Then here's the second thing that we'll do. So, and you want to relate that back to the problems that they shared with you at the beginning of the call, right? So you want to make sure that you make it super relevant to them, instead of saying, well, I have this online course that is 10 lessons and 3 packages and 3 videos, and then there's also this other thing over here, and it's like one session. People don't care about that. They're like, how does this help me? That's the only thing that they're thinking about. So when you're presenting a premium package, make sure that you're confidently guiding people to the option that you think would be best for them, and tell them, I think this is why. What do you think? Does that sound like it's something that would suit you? And invite them in the conversation. You're not trying to force something onto them. You're inviting them to say, what do you think? What are your thoughts? And if they're like, well, actually, like, you know, what about that mastermind you shared? Can you tell me more about it? Sure, I'll be more than happy to tell you about it. And then you can share some of the details. But you want to make sure that you guide the conversation to the thing that you, as a leader and as a coach would, or as a consultant, whatever it is that you're doing, you believe is the most suitable for them. Okay. Hi, Rhiannon. How are you? Alrighty, cool. So, super simple and potent way to present your offers. Already covered that. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about today was the two, okay, just before I move on to the final point, I wanted to say something super important that basically covers, that like addresses point 1 and 2, which is, do you have a signature methodology? Do you have like a package that you, as your unique method for guiding people through, you know, from A to Z? It's so important that we develop this, because you guys, when we get clear, that elevates your positioning in the marketplace so quickly. That puts you above all the competition and all the people who are just kind of like selling whatever at whenever, you know, sessions, or just selling whatever they need, right? That's not what people want to buy. People want to buy into something that is going to get them a result. And this thing needs to have, like, our brain needs to have the confidence and the steps that, you know, the confidence in you that your offer is going to guide them from A to Z, and the confidence in themselves that they can get themselves through those steps. I mean, a lot of the times, obviously, they're like, the steps are exactly what they want, right? Sometimes they'll be like, oh, I don't know how to, like, you know, create a signature offer. Like, that's part of my methodology, for example. But that's what I teach you. I will teach you inside that step 3 of my process how you can create your unique signature methodology so that you can have XYZ. Does that make sense? So make sure that you have the steps, that you start thinking about, like, what is your unique method for guiding people through a result? And if you need help with that, let me know, because that is exactly what I help my clients do. Okay, so now that we've talked about the importance of that signature methodology, because it helps you in your sales goals, it helps you in your marketing, like all your marketing can be around that. The next thing is, the last point here is the 2 mindset and 2 strategies to become more consistent in your business. Think 5-figure months. Okay, what did I write here? Mindset and consistent. Okay, so consistency, we see it as like a result. Like, we want consistent money, we want consistent clients, and we think that it's like something that we kind of don't have power over, or it's like this thing outside of ourselves. That's how I used to feel. Like, consistency is this thing that it's like outside of me, right? And then hi Andres, how are you? Let me just complete this thought first. So consistency is not something that's outside of you. It's a way of being. So instead of you have to think about consistency from the being, and then from the doing. If you are you being consistent with your thoughts? Whatever results you have right now in your life, aka let's just say inconsistent 5-figure months, are all related back to your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. It all stems from there. Thoughts, feelings, actions. So you are being consistent at thinking whatever thoughts, feelings, and actions that are creating that result, right? So I know this sounds a little bit kind of like hard to understand, but this is what really helped me get consistent. I kept on thinking consistently, consistency is not my thing. Or randomly thinking thoughts that didn't support consistency. And I was not being consistent in my own practices, in my own mindset work and in my own actions. Like I just wasn't being consistent, but I was looking for the world to be consistent back to me. It's like, why are my clients consistent? Why are my 5-figure months consistent? What? Right? And then I realized, like, something that just landed for me, it was just like, no, it all starts with me being consistent and being clear. So instead of thinking, oh, I think I want a group program, I think I also want this, I also want that, but I don't know if I can have it, but I don't know if I can do it. Oh, I really want to launch this one thing. Okay, I'm going to do it for 1 week, but then I'll stop. Blah. Like, of course, I wasn't getting consistent results, or I wasn't consistently believing that I could have it. So here's a strategy that I want to give you. And this is simple but powerful, and I'm gonna tell you like the evidence that I have of this being super powerful. I got clear on the one thing that I wanted. What is your number one goal? What's the one thing that you want to get behind? And everything else can just can wait. Let's just say my example. When I first was starting to focus on like 10K client, my goal was I receive one 10K client every single month, no matter what. 10K client every single month, no matter what. That was my only focus. That's all I wanted. For you can be different. For you can be like, I want 10 people in my mastermind by this date. I want to sell this many numbers of this, whatever. Like clear goal. And then I wrote down that goal every single day, like it was my full-time job, and no matter what, I did it, and I felt it being mine. I'm gonna get woo-woo with you, but then I'm gonna give you like tangible strategies, so bear with me. Write down the goal. The one thing that I want is this one thing. 10K client every single month. 10K client every single month. Now, this is something that I could get my energy behind, right? For you, it may not be that. For you, maybe like, I want a consistent 5K client every month. I want $2,000 client every month. Whatever that is. You don't have to have a 10K client. Maybe it's 35K client, right? Like my consistency now is far more than 10K every month, but that's what I was at the time because that's what I could get my energy behind. I was like, I know I can do this. I can do it. Okay. I'm going to do it. This is what I'm stepping into. It felt like a stretch but I was coming from like 6K, consistent 6K months. And I was like, okay, the next step is 10, right? So I did like a bridge thought. I didn't go to like, I can earn $50,000 a month every month. Like a lot of people do that. And then they just like, oh, I can do anything I want. I'm a unicorn. You can do that. But that's you're not gonna get, you don't actually believe it. So why go there if you don't actually believe it? Go to the place where you actually can get behind the number, and then feel it as it already being yours. Like focus on that thing. I wrote it every single day, and I felt it. I don't know where I got this from, but it was definitely not mine. But I heard it as like, imagine if you got a $10,000 check given to you every single month. How would you feel? And I put a little reminder in my phone to feel that feeling of having somebody giving me $10,000 right away every single day. Like literally. For some reason, that energetic like mindset work that I just started feeling, like the vibration and like the being of receiving that I feel like made a huge difference because I was being in the energy of that every single day. Like I was already being that person. How would it feel? And then the strategy to do that is, well, what do I need to do in my packages and in my sales process and in my marketing for that to be a reality? So consistency is the first step. Like, of course, you want to have an epic, super clear marketing message. You want to have a super epic like sales process that you feel really good about. You want to feel confident about your methodology. All those things are important. But that will not work unless you're consistent. So for me, consistency was like, what am I committed to doing every single day to show up for my audience? How can I show up for them even if nobody's watching? And that muscle, I know it sounds easy to say, you guys, it's not easy to do. That's why I created the 30-day Expose Your Truth challenge, because it's to help you like work out that muscle, right? The moment that I started doing that, the compound effect got me to $35,000 months now. And sometimes 41. Like that's been the result of doing all those things, the mindset and then the strategy, like the actual consistent actions to take me to that result. It didn't happen just from being like, one day I will, and this is what I'm going to do today. And maybe it was just like commitment and focus and relentless decision every single day that thing was mine, and I was acting and being in alignment with that result. Does that make sense? All right. Hi, Stephanie. How are you, my love? Let's see. Let me know if this resonates with y'all. So, Andres Martinez, what's your number one way that you generate high quality appointments and calls? 100% so true. Literally just deliver a session on this today. Starts with us having 100% certainty. Yeah. To answer your question about generating high quality appointments and calls, my marketing is the baseline for everything that I do. So everything that, like all of my conversion rate is like 90%. Every single person that gets on the phone with me, it's like maybe out of 10, like one person doesn't sign up with me, but every person that like gets on the phone because they're so qualified. Like people don't get with me on the phone. I don't have a ton of calls with people. I just have calls with people who are 100% like already pretty much like a yes, right? So my marketing does a lot of that. My messaging, I do that through Facebook, I do that through Instagram, and I do that by speaking. And I also have another driver, which is my offline in-person driver. So like I'm a leader of my community. I create an event called Real Talk and Rosé. And from that event where I basically bring women together who are in Chicago, and I facilitate connection, and I facilitate female entrepreneurs coming together to really talk about what's real for them. I create that other like revenue driver, and it's really not about lead gen, but it's more about like creating connection. But that's the thing, you guys, that like a lot of people are like, I'll post one day and see what happens and see how many likes I get. It's like, no, honey, it's like, that's like not, one day of nothing is going to get you anywhere, you know? It's the compound effect of all the things that it doesn't have to be a scattered energy, but it's like the commitment of, if I'm being a leader, if my commitment is to be a leader for my people, how can I show up as a leader, online or offline? And I feel inspired to create that event. And from there, I have had clients who are like, you know, they come to my house, we drink rosé, we have the best time ever. And then eventually they're like, hey, how do we work together? Hey, I want to talk to you about it. We've built trust, we've built connection, they know me personally, and so of course they're gonna pay me in full because they're like, I trust you, I know your jam, you show up consistently, your online presence is on point, your message is on point, you totally get me, let's go, right? So but it's not just one small thing, it's not one meditation, it's not one chakra alignment, it's not one post, it's not one funnel, it's like the commitment of who I am being. And that's why I want to like imprint, and like if you guys can walk away from this, it's not the strategy, it's not the hack that's gonna get you there, it's like, who are you choosing to be? And then your actions and your strategy are gonna feel so much more like natural and aligned, because then it's just like, there's no option, this is who I am being. I can't be stopped. All right, so hi Linda, hi Katia, I love you, boss babe. Yeah, so I want you to think about this for yourself too. Like, who do you want to be for your people, for the people that you want to lead? Like here, what I want to say is like, what's the reason why people should get behind you? You know, what's the reason why people should really get behind your cause? Like, how can you show up being vibrantly sharing about what you want, what you see possible for them, right? And it's not about like your mission, and like, oh, this is what I want for the world. Like, yeah, that's great, but how is that going to impact people in their lives, right? How it's going to help them get what they want? Ultimately, I think that's why marketing is so important, because your marketing is here to really enroll people in what's possible for them when you do it right. When your marketing like really shows the essence of you seeing like, hey, I know what you want. When you see your ideal client's vision, what they want, and then you just are there to facilitate it, that's when it makes everything kind of really come together. So, of course, I'm gonna share with you that I have a mastermind coming up, and it starts on the 26th of August. And I'm super excited, you guys, because this is the stuff, like I'm fully booked with one-on-one clients, and I don't have any more capacity. So I am literally giving you everything that I give my one-on-one clients in this mastermind, and everything synthesized, super condensed. There's not going to be 1 hour videos to watch, long, like none of that. It's going to be super short 10-minute videos, less than an hour a week, but super essential, and things that you can implement and execute on that are going to really reprogram your mind for success, because it's kind of like what I have done for myself. And then it's really going to give you the structure for you to have a really magnetic brand, like that attracts people, a sales process that feels good, and a marketing message that elevates the quality of clients that you attract. That is my jam. That is what I help people do. And I've decoded all my processes into this mastermind. So it's going to be so impactful. I'm so excited. I could have done a mastermind like a long time ago and just never felt aligned. And I just didn't want to do anything that didn't feel like, okay, I'm ready. I'm super excited. Like one-on-one has always been my jam. So now I'm like, I'm ready for a mastermind, because like it feels right. It feels like, oh, it feels so good just to hold space for 9 or 10 people at most. It's going to be super intimate. And what's amazing about it is that only you guys here in the group get access to it first. And the first 10 people to sign up, they're going to get not only just the 3 months of the mastermind with the coaching calls. We're going to have weekly group coaching calls where I'm going to give you feedback on your content, on your messaging, on your sales process, how to attract people, everything obviously that go through in the mastermind. But you're going to get access to another 3 months of coaching. So you get access basically to 6 months of coaching with me in a group container. So you get access to the next round, which is amazing. So I'm super excited for this. And it's a fraction of the cost of what it is to work with me one-on-one. So if that speaks to you in any way, send me a message, because it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited for it. Post the link for the mastermind. Hey, I am working on the sales page. This is like super early. Like, I'm just like telling you guys before I launch it, because I'm going to launch it in, I can't remember exactly when the date starts, but the sales page is in the works. So this is like super early stages. I'm just like literally telling you guys like here, like hush, hush. So as soon as I have a link to the page, I'm going to launch it. So I don't have one yet, but you can send me a message and I can tell you more about it in more detail. All right, my loves, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, you guys, because all of you have been asking like, hey, how do I do my content? Like, how do I write stories that are compelling? How do I do calls to action in my content? How do I get clear my message? How do I elevate the quality of clients that I attract? How do I get consistent? And like, this is it. I'm going to tell you all how to do it. And by the way, my clients are getting epic results with my process and what I teach them. So feel free to ask me any questions that you may have. They're like selling out their launches. One of my clients had $140,000 quarter, actually not month, quarter, but he did have a $100,000 month this year. So, I mean, it's amazing. So I feel so called to do this. I'm like, it's time. So anyway, now I'm going to wrap up this Facebook Live. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that I shared today in terms of content. Every Thursday, I'm going to be doing one of these super value-packed Facebook Lives. So definitely stay tuned. And until then, you guys, I love you. Thank you so much for being part of this community. I love you all so much. Mwah! Okay, talk soon. Where do I end this? Bye-bye.